The judge is going to allow witnesses to testify about and allow the video of King Von's to be played at the trial.
Why you got me charged with Durk? And that doesn't mean he's going against Durk. That just means he wants his case severed, and I'm telling you, if it's severed, it helps Durk.
Lil Durk's trial just got pushed back again, and this time the delay is opening a window for house arrest that his legal team has been fighting for since day one. The murder for hire case is now set for Tuesday, August 25th, giving Durk and his lawyers more time to prepare their defense and file additional motions. On top of that scheduling shift, 3 co-defendants tied to the King Von revenge situation have filed motions to separate their cases from Durk's trial entirely, which changes the entire dynamic of how this case will unfold in the courtroom. This associate confessed to a cellmate about his involvement in the case, and that cellmate turned out to be an undercover informant working with federal investigators the entire time. The confession reportedly included claims that Durk personally paid him to retaliate for D-Thang's death, which gives prosecutors another direct link between Durk and the alleged murder-for-hire plot.
He gets locked up in a cell, and they give him a cellmate. He tells his cellmate who he how he murdered him, the homie he did the murder with, and who was supposed to pay him for the murder. Thank you. Come again. Perfect. Got him. So he confessed, essentially. He's talking to a cellmate. Listen to how he's talking to his cellmate, chat. Yeah, I had the standard, folk. With a 60 round in that on mic. I let 3 shots out when he first came out. Marley said, yo, wait till he get to the car. I say, yo, tweaking, boy. By the time he get to the car, that's enough time for him to get his pipe. Yo, so now the cellmate, who's a confidential source, is saying, tell me more.
Legal experts watching this case are now asking a real uncomfortable question that nobody wants to answer. Did the feds push this trial back because they're building toward another murder charge against Durk? And are they using this extra time to gather even more evidence before stepping into that courtroom? The trust Durk once had in his own people is slipping fast. Those motions filed by co-defendants to sever their cases from his trial carry a weight that goes beyond legal strategy. Because when Durk walks into court for the murder for hire charge, he's walking in alone with all eyes fixed directly on him. No co-defendants sitting at the defense table to share the weight of the accusations. No familiar faces from his circle standing beside him when the jury looks over. The isolation is real, and it's already affecting how his defense will play out. OTF Duty is reportedly trying to distance himself from the case too, which means another trusted member of Durk's inner circle is stepping back when Durk needs support the most. But here's the thing. Fewer gang affiliates standing next to him at trial might actually help his image with the jury, since prosecutors often use those associations to paint a picture of organized criminal activity. With the trial now pushed to August, Durk has time to make moves behind the scenes, and he's using every second of it. Court filings show his lawyer already submitted paperwork requesting house arrest as an alternative to pre-trial detention. The offer Durk put on the table is almost unheard of in federal cases like this. Durk says he'll personally pay an officer's full salary just to watch him around the clock, with 24/7 surveillance, no leaving the house under any circumstances, and constant monitoring of everything he does throughout the day. His legal team is arguing there's zero flight risk because Durk is willing to fund his own incarceration at home, which would cost taxpayers nothing while ensuring he stays exactly where authorities can find him. The prosecution wasn't about to let him catch that break without a fight, though. The judge just ruled that the feds can use whatever evidence they want against Durk at trial, and that ruling opened doors that Durk's defense was hoping would stay closed. The evidence the prosecution can now bring into the courtroom includes footage of King Von's death, the actual moment he was taken out on camera, which will be shown to the jury to establish the emotional foundation of this entire case.
Testimony and video surveillance surrounding the death of King Von, and the motion to exclude this evidence was denied, meaning the judge is going to allow witnesses to testify about and allow the video of King Von's to be played at the trial. And this is important because prosecutors wanted to use this evidence to argue that King Von's is the reason or motive as to why Durk offered this bounty on Quando Rondo. And so with this ruling, the jury will get to see and hear about all.
The prosecution's angle with that footage centers entirely on motive, specifically why Durk would want Quando Rondo's crew touched in the first place. The court is allowing the footage because it establishes the relationship between Durk and Von. and it shows what Durk lost that night in Atlanta. Think back to when King Von passed and how ops were celebrating all over social media for days afterward, posting screenshots, mocking Von's death, laughing about it publicly, where Durk and everyone in his circle could see it happening in real time.
Heard that, considering the back and forth that y'all have had in your own ways, how did you feel?
So I kind of happy.
You were happy?
Can I say I was kind of happy? No, seriously, I was though. It was up. That, you know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, he did. But I was happy as when I found out Von was dead. I cooked for the whole day for all the people out.
When you looked at King Von getting, how did you feel? Considering the animosity between you guys up to that point.
Like my real first action.
Yeah.
Thought I was happy.
You were happy.
I was happy.
That kind of disrespect doesn't fade overnight, and prosecutors are arguing it would only push someone like Durk closer to wanting payback, no matter the cost or the consequences. A second reason exists for why they're showing Von's death to the judge and eventually the jury, and it ties directly to the lyrical evidence prosecutors plan to use. Durk rapped the line, "They be on my page like Slide for Von. I know they trolling me. Y'all just don't know that's how it's supposed to be," on a track that millions of people heard. That bar matters because of what Durk said in an interview with DJ Academic shortly after. Durk told him straight up that nobody comments telling him to slide for Von anymore. And the timing of that statement is what prosecutors are focused on. When did he say that? Right after Quando Rondo's side got hit and Lil Pab was taken out in that shooting. That interview gave the prosecution exactly what they needed to build their timeline, because Durk's own words line up perfectly with when everything went down.
Triggered by the slide for Von comments. I don't know if people still say it. They used to say it, but you also mentioned a song. They'd be like, they be saying slide for Von. I think they trolling me. Yo, by the way, that song is fire. I ain't gonna lie.
For some reason, I just don't see the comments no more. Some odd reason. I don't know. Might be the water.
His statement about the comments stopping came after the alleged retaliation happened, which prosecutors say proves Durk knew the mission was complete, and they're stacking more lyric evidence on top of it to reinforce their theory. Bars like, "Don't respond to things with Von." I'm like, screw it, you're tripping. Go get your stick. Paint a picture of someone ready to take action. Lines like, "They dropping locations. I'm getting it done. Forget tweeting. We sliding." Give prosecutors language that sounds like direct orders rather than artistic expression. The feds are pointing at those lines and telling the court this was Durk's mindset in the months after Von died. He didn't care about consequences. He didn't care about prison. All he wanted was revenge for King Von. And according to the prosecution's theory, that's exactly what happened when Quando Rondo's associate got killed.
It's on for 3 people who police say at a Savannah rapper, a member of his entourage. It happened in Los Angeles, and cameras captured the aftermath.
This man, a passenger in that car, frantic at the sight.
A lot of people assume lyrics can't be used in court because of free speech protections, and that assumption is usually correct. It doesn't happen often because the First Amendment protects artistic expression, and prosecutors typically avoid lyric-based evidence because juries understand that rappers play characters in their music. Durk's situation is different from those other cases though, because his lyrics and interviews match up too closely with the timing of the crime and the way everything played out. The specificity is what separates this case from others where lyrics got thrown out. Durk's lawyers aren't staying quiet while all this evidence gets introduced though. They're pushing back hard on multiple fronts and claiming Durk isn't being treated fairly by the court or the facility holding him. Court documents show his legal team filed a request for a status hearing to address the conditions of his detention, and the reason they filed goes beyond standard legal procedure. Durk's been sitting in a special housing unit since August 29th, 2025. with no due process and no formal review of why he's being held in isolation. The conditions Durk is dealing with right now would break most people mentally. The cell is tiny, barely big enough for a single bed, a toilet, and a sink, with no room to move around or exercise. That's the entirety of his living space. And he's in there 23 hours a day with almost no human contact, no commissary access to buy basic items that make jail more bearable, one phone call a month to communicate with his family and legal team, no in-person visits from anyone who wants to see him, which cuts him off from the support system that's gotten him through difficult times before. How'd he end up in that special housing unit in the first place? Allegedly, an Apple Watch is what got him thrown in there. That's what the facility claims justified moving him to solitary confinement. But Durk's lawyers are pointing out a major problem with that explanation. The infraction was never even reviewed through proper channels. The unit discipline committee is supposed to handle situations like this within 5 working days, according to facility policy. And that review hasn't happened. Durk's been sitting in isolation for months without anyone formally determining whether the punishment was justified. Meanwhile, inmates from Durk's cell block got on the jail phone and started telling people on the outside how guards threw him in the hole without following procedure.
They got Lil Durk in a hole for basically some BS. Right now we're going to show the paperwork. They saying that he was caught with a cell phone, and basically that's not true. They trying to keep him in a hole, do a lot of things that they shouldn't be doing or whatever, but they're trying to make a point because they saying that me and him is privileged and we got so many things going on, and it's a lot of beef.
The mistreatment has been happening since day one, and nobody with a platform is saying a word about it anymore. Remember when Durk first got arrested and every rapper was posting Free Durk on their stories and feeds? It was all over social media for weeks. Support from artists he'd collaborated with, messages from people he'd helped come up in the industry. The hip-hop community seemed unified behind him. But now, silence from almost everyone who was posting back then. Durk and his team noticed that shift and posted on his Instagram. Crazy how you gotta wait until it's dark out to see who really with you. That message says everything about where Durk's head is at right now. He gave so much to the people around him throughout his career, put artists on songs, helped people get deals, showed up when others needed him. And now that he's the one who needs people to step up, almost nobody's defending him publicly.
I wouldn't be surprised if some of the went on tour with, did songs with, called you they brother, they twin. I wouldn't be surprised if these rappers try to India them up. These are down low and dirty. And I think this is what, I think Durk right now is thinking that, man, I thought I was just with a whole bunch of real. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. And I feel bad for Durk. When King Slime got locked up, there was a whole parade. Free him! Free him! Free him! Oh, nah. Everybody would post details of the case. How is this humane? How could they do this? Yo, free free Slime. Durk got locked up. They might give that half a bar. Free Smirk. And they moved the... I'll give credit. I have heard some of these guys have sent lawyers. Good for that, but Smirk is in there, man, realizing the world don't stop spinning because you lie.
DJ Academic spoke on this situation directly and said everybody's leaving Durk's side when he needs them most. The Durk we used to know, the one who trusted his circle and kept people close, isn't coming back the same way after this experience. He'll be colder when he gets out, more distant with people who want to be around him. After watching how fast people switched up on him when the charges dropped, he's probably going to move alone from now on and trust almost nobody.
The Durk y'all loved when he was free, if he gets back out again, he'll never be that Durk. I'm gonna tell you why. He done learned a lot of lessons. This is me assuming, nothing he's told me. But the things that he did for others, y'all know when he came on my podcast, right? And he said, man, your gun is a snitch, I can't gun him. Man, that. I don't care, I love Thug. He said that because Thug told him. Yo, what Durk is realizing, Durk is a great soldier, but nobody looked at him like a leader. Durk was willing to move on behalf of the people he's loyal to when they get locked up. When he locked up, they might drop him as a bar in a song, but...
While all that's happening on the personal side, the feds just dropped new evidence they're planning to use at trial that could hurt Durk's defense significantly. A photo of Durk from 2022 surfaced in court filings, showing him posing with $1 million in cash spread out around him. That image matters because of timing, more than anything else. The photo was taken just months before Quando Rondo's crew got targeted in the shooting, which gives prosecutors a visual to accompany their bounty theory. The prosecution is saying that money in the picture represents the actual bounty Durk allegedly put up for retaliation. $1 million on Quando Rondo, placed back in 2022 when emotions were still raw from Von's death. Court filings break down how the alleged plot unfolded step by step. Durk supposedly used trusted lieutenants to recruit hitmen for the job, and those recruiters flew the shooters out to Southern California on August 18, 2022. The mission was simple according to prosecutors: get Quando Rondo and get out, and the timing lines up with Durk's alleged promise to reward anyone who helped make that happen. Another defendant in the case reportedly recruited shooters by offering that same $1 million payout on Durk's behalf, using the money as motivation to fly to Los Angeles and handle the job. The payout structure allegedly extended beyond just cash, though. Some co-conspirators were rewarded with features on songs instead of money, which gave them something valuable they could build careers on. Music video appearances put faces in front of millions of viewers. Shoutouts and lyrics gave people recognition they couldn't buy anywhere else. One of the most talked about tracks tied to all this alleged activity is Durk's song Block is Hot, which prosecutors say contains references to the events surrounding the retaliation. The evidence kept building from there, and the case got even more serious. Prosecutors announced they've got multiple cooperating witnesses ready to take the stand and testify that Durk was the one organizing everything from the top. These aren't random witnesses with secondhand information. These are people who were allegedly in the room when decisions got made, and they're ready to tell the jury what they saw and heard. That news clearly rattled Durk because the next time he showed up in court, his appearance had changed dramatically. He looked noticeably thinner than previous appearances, like the stress and the conditions of his detention were taking a physical toll on his body. And the dreads were gone, completely cut off, which changed his entire look and made him almost unrecognizable compared to the Durk the public knows from music videos and performances. That same hearing didn't go well for his defense either. Durk's legal team filed motions to get the case thrown out entirely, arguing that the evidence was insufficient or improperly obtained. Every single motion was denied by the judge. The only thing the court took under advisement was a motion for a bill of particulars, which would require prosecutors to be more specific about certain allegations. A lawyer who reacted to all this publicly said something real about Durk's situation. If Durk wants out of this, motions aren't going to save him no matter how many his lawyers file. He has to prove his innocence at trial in front of that jury. The judge is not throwing this case out, regardless of what legal arguments get made.
I'm a lawyer, and I just learned that the rap artist Lil Durk just had his motion to dismiss his for hire case denied. To be honest, I'm not that surprised. Let me tell you guys something. There's only two ways that Lil Durk is rocking out of that federal courtroom on 2 feet. A jury of 12 people says that he is not guilty, or President Trump pardons him. There's no other way that Durk is walking out of that court free. That judge is not going to be dismissing any key evidence. He's not going to be dismissing any motions. He's not going to do anything that significantly helps Lil Durk walk out of that courtroom without having a trial. Now, how and why am I so sure of this? Well, here's the first thing I want to tell you. Most federal judges used to be federal prosecutors, exact prosecutors that are prosecuting Durk. A lot of judges used to stand in that very position. Federal prosecutors can be very biased people, and very rarely, once they put on that black robe and become a judge, do they get rid of those biases, okay? That judge very likely probably thinks that Durk is guilty. He just can't be the one that actually...
Content creators online started talking about Durk's physical transformation and what it says about the pressure building around him, the weight loss, the haircut, the look in his eyes during court appearances.
This is my last no jumper. Durk Torre told me I wasn't supposed to come back up here with that last.
Now look what happened to him.
That man got kids. You talking about look what happened to him.
Definitely not happy about him.
I wouldn't be happy if you go to jail, Adam, because I know you got daughter. Break down.
There's multiple people who are no longer there for their kids as a result of that Durk allegedly called in.
Until they put that on black and white, sir. Stop throwing stuff on a black man who's trying to do something right for the community right now.
The feds have already put out a lot of information about this.
You don't have to put it out. You don't have to put it out. So this is a major platform.
You're not the boss of me. We talk about rap on here. I think it is well within our jurisdiction to talk about the fact
jurisdiction?
That
what type of police is
been
this?
alleged to have ordered them.
This
free smirk though,
free smirk. But also
maybe police. It's a platform. There's some police.
Just sit down for a little and decide, hey, maybe I'm not anybody else.
We don't have no proof that.
People who followed his career for years are saying he looks like a different person than the artist who was dominating charts just a year ago. Durk's lawyer, Drew, isn't backing down despite all the setbacks, though. He's been relentless in fighting for any opening to get Durk released before trial. And that persistence led to another bond hearing. This time, Durk's own father got involved because he believed the release was actually going to happen. The family put up $3 million for the bond, showing they were willing to risk everything they had to get Durk home while awaiting trial. $3 million sitting on the table ready to go, and the court still said no. That denial hit the family hard because they'd done everything prosecutors typically ask for in these situations, and it still wasn't enough to secure his release.
Courtroom for the bond hearing for my son for the release for the third time. This time it was very fair. The judge was very fair. He wasn't pro-prosecutor, he wasn't pro-defense, but he was pro-justice. So he listened to all the evidence, and he's gonna give a ruling in the next few days about what his position is for the bond. But we were very pleased at how it turned out. So continue, family, friends, and fans, continue to keep us in your prayers, and we thank you. And inshallah, God willing, this be victorious for us, that we have a good ruling in our favor.
And that's when the snitches got exposed in court filings. Prosecutors revealed who they're using to build this case against Durk, and the evidence goes deeper than just witness testimony. They've got group chat messages from O-Block that were recovered during the investigation. What's inside those messages allegedly tells a story that complicates Durk's relationships with his own people. The chats allegedly contain claims that Durk was placing hits on his own O-Block members because they supposedly refused to retaliate after King Von's passing. Court documents say Durk feuded with Muwop over this specifically, believing they weren't stepping up to handle business when it mattered most. That revelation had 100 and DJ academics both speaking on these informants and what their cooperation means for the case.
Life by basically saying he's guilty of for hire, and the only thing that, like, yes, some of these things look suspect. Why'd you go there? Why are these people going there? Why'd you send this message? But nothing. There's no message that they got that says where Durk says y'all that Quando yet. Nothing says that.
You missing the point. Okay. They got a witness already cooperating on that. Been had one. We just ain't seen what they said. It's 3 years. One of the is cooperating.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's co-conspirators.
I don't know. You don't need too much more than that. One of them is cooperating. Then in the paperwork, you got the conversation. They say they had it in and out. The other 2 was figuring out how they...
More cooperating witnesses are coming forward according to sources close to the investigation. But here's where the situation gets interesting for Durk's defense. Some people following the case closely think one of these snitches might actually be hurting the Fed's case on purpose, whether intentionally or through inconsistency in their statements. Reports started circulating that Durk could actually be found not guilty based on problems with witness credibility. New court filings revealed the main witness changed his story between interviews with prosecutors. First, he said there was no bounty on Quando Rondo, which would undermine the entire murder for hire theory. Now he's claiming there was one, which contradicts what he said earlier. That kind of inconsistency raises real questions about whether the jury will believe anything this witness says on the stand. And defense attorneys typically destroy witnesses who change their stories like that. OTF Varney is a second cooperating witness in the case, and his court file just got updated with information that changes his status completely. The file now says he's no longer in prison custody, which means he either got released early as part of his cooperation deal, or he's sitting in a halfway house right now transitioning back to civilian life while waiting to testify. The wildest part of Varney's involvement is that he basically snitched on himself through his own carelessness. He texted a friend breaking down his whole plea deal word for word, explaining exactly what he agreed to and what kind of sentence he's expecting to receive. And that friend went ahead and leaked the entire conversation for everyone to see. Varney wrote out the details clearly. I'm trying to plea out to a 32. That's the base for murder for hire. The max is 43, which is life. I get -2 points for taking a plea, -1 for an early plea, -2 for no background. So I'll have 27 points. That's 5 to 7 years. He added something else at the end of that message that reveals his mindset. I can't go to trial. Don't want them to do me like the other guys. That last line references OTF Jam, another snitch in this case who cooperated with prosecutors. Nobody's heard from Jam in months, and people are speculating about what happened to him after he agreed to testify against his former associates.
Give you this. It's a back door and I got all the pieces. That's all I'm gonna tell you. As Durk asked Vonnie, is it open? Vonnie told him it's off the hinges.
Wait. Are you talking about the Von? Like King Von?
Listen very carefully. When the payment was made to Little Tim, The next day or the same day, Durk asked Vonnie, was it open? This is what he asked him, was it open? It was his exact words, was it open? He told him it's off the hinges.
Are you saying that Vonnie backdoor King Von? No, no way. That was...
That'll testify that, or will make a contract or make a statement to you and let you know that this is the amount of money he had, this is what he had, this is that, another. You need motive first and foremost. You got a text message from the lawyer letting you know that who told on Durk before, who told on Von before.
The situation got even darker when Vonnie's own father caught wind that his son was cooperating with federal investigators. Instead of staying quiet about it, Vonnie's dad decided to expose him even more publicly. He's out here claiming Vonnie was actually behind the hit on King Von himself, and that Durk put him up to it as payback for something else entirely. Think about that for a second. Vonnie's own father is publicly calling out his son for a body and accusing him of being involved in one of the most high-profile killings in hip-hop history. That family relationship is destroyed, and the accusations add another layer of chaos to an already complicated case. The cooperating witness list keeps growing, though. Someone else is now working against Durk, too, and this one hits close to home for his inner circle. OTF Duty's younger brother Tez just got picked up by the feds on a charge that could flip him into a witness. The charge is possession of a firearm at a store, which happened during a routine interaction with law enforcement. This matters because Duty is Durk's main guy and has been for years. Anything Durk needs handled, Duty's on it without question. Duty knows everything about how Durk operates and what decisions get made at the top. So if Tez knows even half of what his brother knows about Durk's business and operations, that's a serious problem for the defense, because Tez now has every incentive to trade information for a lighter sentence. Body cam footage surfaced recently that shows exactly how quickly Tez folded when confronted by law enforcement. The footage shows him literally begging to cooperate against Durk and other OTF members before he even got processed into the system. That video changed the whole dynamic of this case because it shows prosecutors have someone eager to talk and willing to say whatever they need to hear. Durk's lawyers scrambled after that footage came out and filed paperwork asking for extended time on their bond proposal, clearly trying to get ahead of whatever Tez might tell investigators. The details from the body cam footage paint a picture of someone completely unprepared for the situation he found himself in. Officers found Tez with a firearm that had an extended clip, which is a serious charge on its own.
Come on. Hey, stop it. Stop it.
They took him to the station for processing, and he lasted exactly 1 minute before telling the cop he wanted to snitch on people he knew. He said he'd give up street crimes he had knowledge about if they dropped his charge or reduced it to something lighter. The desperation was obvious from the moment they put the cuffs on. They processed him through the system and put him in a holding cell to wait.
You gotta relax. Can't understand.
For 30 minutes, the camera recorded what happened, and you could see Tez falling apart mentally, pacing back and forth, holding his head in his hands, looking like someone who realized exactly how much trouble he was in and how few options he had to get out of it. He wasn't built for that environment at all, and the feds know they have someone who will cooperate fully to avoid spending years behind bars. Everything comes down to one question now that the trial date is set and the witness list keeps growing. Can Lil Durk actually beat all this evidence stacking up against him? And can he overcome the growing list of people from his own circle who are working to put him away? If you're following this case and want to know what happens next, hit subscribe so you don't miss the updates as they come out.